Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So it's that time of the week. It is time for us to do our 1-minute book recs. This is where we go over all the books we read the past week with 1-minute synopsises of each book. So
at the end of this video, we are going to be giving away our Amazon gift card. So you're going to want to make sure that you are subscribed so you're entered to win for whatever our next giveaway is going to be. So stay tuned.
All right. Okay, so how was your reading week?
My reading week was really busy. I read 14 books, which was a lot.
Yeah, a little bit. That's shocking, actually.
Yeah. So how was your reading week?
It was fine. I had a couple 5 stars. I did 9. So I had like one that had been anticipated for a while, and I got the arc and was so excited that that's all I could think about.
All right.
Yeah.
So my first book is Sleigh Bells and Slaughter by Elena Jacobs.
Okay.
So, oh, my mouse moved on me. There we go. Okay, so this is a holiday mystery suspense. I listened to the audiobook. It was done by Leah Malchuk something, and Patrick Zeller. Both new to me narrators, I think. So this is about Lilith, and Lilith has a cat named Salem, and she has some serious like Wednesday Addams vibes, and she is part of the Christmas market, but you can just imagine that she's not super Christmassy at the Christmas market and sells some interesting things, which leads Patty, who is like the do-gooder, just kind of, she really reminded me of like that snobby girl in high school. And she is wanting to get Lilith shut down from the Christmas market. And in doing so, she then ends up mysteriously dead. And then we end up with Luke, the hot firefighter, who shows up. Things get caught on fire. So there's this whole like mystery going with what's going on during this whole thing. So I rated it 4 stars and I gave it 2 Christmas trees for Christmas cheer. There's a little bit of Christmas, but not a lot.
That's my idea of a Christmas book. I did read a Christmas book this week that we will talk about. I have a hard time with Christmas books. I just feel like it's a recycled plot. But okay.
This was not. Never seen that on a Hallmark movie before.
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. So my first book was one I started before we went to Vegas, and I didn't finish it until now because Vegas was in the way. Understandably so. And that is Princess by Claire Kent. This is book number 2 in her Kindle series. So this is about Olivia Ingrand. So this is post-apocalyptic, and Olivia is a senior in high school. She's at a boarding school, and her father is extremely wealthy. When someone comes to the school and collects her and takes her to her father, she has no clue what's going to happen. We know that they have found out that there's an asteroid headed towards Earth, and there's nothing that is going to stop it. And the world as we know it is going to end. So her dad is very wealthy, and he has this inside knowledge. And so he has sent Grant to come pick her up, and he is military, and he is like, you know, the military stud, but he's very quiet and calm and just doesn't say a lot. Picks her up, takes her to where her dad is at. They are in a bunker, an underground bunker, and that is where they are for 5 years. In the meantime, her father has passed and things have changed, but she comes to find out that Grant has told everybody to stay away from her once she got to, you know, dating age, and she was dating age then. And he does some training with her. This is their story. It's very grumpy sunshine. He's just very aloof and standoffish. I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it was almost like, it kind of felt like a bodyguard romance in a way. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. So what's your next book?
My next book is Dating the Defensive Back by Lisa Suzanne. So this is the first book in the Nash Brothers series. We have football, we have brother's best friend, and we have some fake dating. So lots of my favorite tropes here. So Grayson and Ava end up hooking up in Vegas when Grayson gets transferred there or traded there to go play on the Vegas Aces. And he is aware that his best friend's little sister lives in this town, but it's been many years since he's seen her. So he does not really remember her. And Ava knows who Grayson is, but she chooses not to tell him and decides, oh, shoot, my timer didn't start. I'm sorry. She chooses not to tell him who she is. And then she decides she will tell him later. Well, before she can tell him, Grayson goes looking for his best friend's little sister at her place of employment and is shocked to find out it is the same hot chick from his one night stand. And he is not happy about this, but he ends up stepping in to save the day when her ex won't leave her alone. And that leads to some fake dating situations. So I enjoyed this one. 4 stars.
Okay. My next one is the book that we read together last weekend. Do you have that on your list to talk about?
I do, and I assumed you were probably going to talk about it.
So we both read this last week. I'll be talking about it, but this is Deception by BJ Alpha. This is the 3rd book in her Mafia Daddy series. This is the one where BJ tries to get literally every taboo trope into one book. But this is Rocco's story. This is a reverse age gap. This is student teacher. Rocco sees Hallie when he is 16 at a club. Now he is Mafia, so he has grown up really quickly, really fast. He sees Hallie. He is attracted to Hallie. He wants Hallie. He plots and plans to get Hallie, who at the time is married. And that lands him in her classroom when he is 18. And after they've had a one-night stand situation, she turns around and sees him sitting in her classroom, beaming ear to ear. So this is, we did a vlog for this one, Mandy and I both. That is out now. You can get the book and go read along with us on the vlog. It is so good. We both loved it. Go watch the vlog. It's great. It's great and taboo.
5 stars.
5 stars for both of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So good.
Well, my next book starts off Laura Pavlov's latest series, Magnolia Falls. So this is Loving Romeo. This is a special edition cover I got from her in Vegas. I just loved the cover. So we have Romeo. Romeo is a boxer. He's retired and he owns a gym. And Demi opens a coffee shop next door to him. Now, Romeo is the half brother to Lincoln, who is in the Cottonwood Cove series. So if you want to kind of follow in order. So we have Demi. She grew up really rich, but she's determined to make it kind of on her own. And so she's determined to make this coffee shop work. And Romeo kind of grew up the polar opposite of Demi. And he despises Demi's family. He has reasons. Demi is completely oblivious to this, though, and she keeps trying to end up basically in his orbit, sometimes on purpose and sometimes not so much. But being next door to each other, that often happens. And there is definitely some chemistry between the two of them, but Romeo is very resistant to it because of things that have happened in the past that, again, Demi is completely oblivious to. One of the brothers, it's like found family brothers, like that sort of thing, but they consider each other brothers. One of them has a kiddo who kind of steals the whole book. He decides that he wants a new nickname and wants everyone to call him Beefcakes. It's so funny. It's really cute. I love this story a lot. 5 stars.
All right. So the next book I have is the Christmas book that I read this week. Even though I don't like to read Christmas books, apparently I felt the need to listen to a Christmas book while I cooked dinner one night. Go figure. So this is The Naughty List by Sheridan. And this, like every other Christmas story, is a second chance romance. This is about Blair and Nicholas. Go figure. And so Blair is like a big ad exec. She's works for a marketing firm in New York. She left her little hometown years ago and left behind the boyfriend, and she went to go make it big in New York. And the beginning of this book, she sends out a company and client-wide email that is inappropriate, but it's funny. and she gets fired for like the umpteenth time by the same boss because he fires her and then all of her clients want her back. And so then he hires her and this thing kind of happens. Well, the month prior, her grandma passed away. And she finds out that her grandma has left her house. Her grandma's her only family. She's left her house. And so she decides to go back to this little hometown and she's going to start her own PR firm or her marketing firm, but she's going to go back to this hometown and sell grandma's house. And lo and behold, the minute she gets there, who does she run into? But Nicholas. And then the story goes from there because it's Christmas cheer. It's this. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I just have a really hard time with Christmas books because I feel like it's the same plot recycled over and over and over and over again. Like, I get it. They're all named Holly or Nick or Cole because of a lump of coal, but seriously. I still give it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I just want something different.
I read a lot of Christmas books this week, and only one was Second Chance.
Every Christmas book I've ever read has been Second Chance. I just feel like the plot is recycled so many times.
Okay.
So, obviously, I sound like the Grinch right now.
All of mine were very different, so I don't know.
Well, every single one I've chosen, they're always the same thing. So,
okay, well,
next.
Yes.
You're talking about a Christmas book?
So my Christmas books all feel different to me, and they do not have Second Chance except for one. So,
okay,
here we go.
Okay.
My next one is called Christmas with Saint by Jay Sterling. Oh, and before you switch over, I want to share this fun little thing. So Jay Sterling has 12 novellas, one for each month, and they're themed with either a holiday that month or a season. And so you can actually get the audio for all 12 for only 1 credit. Or you can also, she has bundles where you can get the ebook bundle, or I think you can even order all the paperbacks. So just wanted to share that because 1 audio credit to get 12 novellas is kind of cool.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Christmas with Saint by Jay Sterling. And this is about Ivy and Saint. And yes, we have like a little bit of a Christmas themed name going on. So this is number 12 in the Fun for the Holidays series. So Saint promised his best friend that he would stay away from his little sister. But Ivy has been trying to get Saint's attention for a very long time. And now they're all adults and all of that stuff. And they end up volunteering to play Santa and an elf, which is kind of masterminded by somebody else to kind of force them together. And voila, that is the tale of our novella. So I rated this 4 stars. I gave it 3 Christmas trees for Christmas cheer. I felt like this was, darn it. I'm trying to switch over and I'm messing everything up.
Okay, hold on. There we go.
I felt like this was a fun novella, a little bit different take on Brother's Best Friend, and just a fun read. I enjoyed it.
Good. Okay. All right. So the next book that I have is a reread for me, but it's been years. Like I read it way before we ever did the channel. So we're going to talk about it. I kind of felt the need to go back into this. I read some of the books in the series earlier this year and I wanted to go back to the beginning. And so that is Keeping Lily by Izzy Sweet and Sean Moriarty. The first 3 books in the Disciple series, this is book 1, the Disciple series, all have audio, which is kind of nice. The rest after that don't. So I re-listened to this. This is about Lily and Lucifer, aka Matthew. So Lucifer is the head of the Mafia, and he finds out that this guy owes him, I think it was like $6 million or $5 million, and he hasn't repaid. And, it's a debt that he's inherited and he is not happy about it. And so one night he loads all his boys up into their vehicles and they decide to go to this guy's house to like get some revenge and figure out where his money is and see what they can do. And while he pulls up the folder and starts looking at, the details about this guy, he notices this guy's wife, Lily, and he notices their children. They have 2 kids under the age of 6, and he is immediately just taken and obsessed with the picture. And so they break into the house at night, wake them up, And Lily and her husband have not had a good relationship. He's been cheating on her and he won't touch her for years and whatever, but wakes them up and basically says, you know, you owe me. And the husband's like, take my wife instead. And he's like, nope, I'll take your wife and your kids. And from then on, he is dad to those kids. And Lily's like, what is going on? It's a little fast paced. It happens kind of quickly for me. But I do like when I just sit back and enjoy the story, I enjoy the story. I give it 3.5. It's one of their first ones that they did together. If I could be wrong, but I like it. I like it. Still good. Still worth listening to start the series. There's a lot of breeding, over the top jealousy. We're good. So next.
All right.
Okay.
Well, my next book has breeding in it as well.
All right.
So this is StowawayWhirlwind by May Alder. This is her newest release that just came out. And this is part of the Big Boys of Brinson Trucking series. So Marigold's 19. She is pregnant and she is hitchhiking to her dad's house in Texas before she has her baby. So like she's due very, very soon. And she sneaks into an 18-wheeler to try and just get like some rest and hopefully get to where she's going. She doesn't really think the whole thing through. And she falls asleep and off they go. And when she wakes up, Davis is very surprised to find her back there in the back of his truck. But he's also very taken with this 19-year-old, and things happen fairly rapidly in this one. And he ends up having to take her to go have the baby and basically tells her she's going to live with him. And he feels like her and the baby are his now. And this leads to lots of kinkiness and some breeding desires and lots of things like that, and some daddy calling and all of that. So I rated this 4 stars. I really did enjoy it. I read a review after I was done with it, though, where somebody complained about him being too much of a pushover and how the daddy dom thing doesn't work in that situation. And I was a little confused because I don't feel like the daddy kink is always associated with a daddy dom.
No.
Like there's a lot of books that I read where there's a daddy kink and it has nothing to do with being a daddy dom. So I didn't quite understand that review. I really liked it. I don't think that you have to have a dom sub situation for there to be a daddy kink at all.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but that's how I feel about
I think so. There's talks about that too. Like sometimes guys, like the hero is a dom in the bedroom, but not necessarily outside of the bedroom, and that's okay. Like so the same thing with the daddy kink. It doesn't have to be that way. So
I would say I do read quite a bit of books where there's a daddy kink, and I would say 95% of the time it has nothing to do with being a dom.
Exactly. So that person obviously doesn't.
So maybe I'm reading way different books than somebody else, obviously. So I just wanted to say that. Usually I don't pay any attention to reviews, but that one just kind of caught my eye. And I was like, but I don't really agree with this. But I'm not going to get into an internet fight with somebody. I just wanted to bring that up. So go ahead and you can weigh in on your thoughts on the daddy kink, daddy dom in the comments. And if you disagree with us, that's totally fine. We do not want to have an internet feud or anything. We welcome we welcome all comments and thoughts. And I mean, maybe you have information that would change our minds. So you're always welcome to express your thoughts here on our channel. We will not get into like crazy arguments. We'll just
that's your thoughts. You're good to have
disagree. We disagree, and that's what makes the world go round.
Exactly.
We try to be drama free here.
Yeah, we just want to read. We just want to read and enjoy our books.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
okay.
What do you have next?
I have a little bit of a disappointment. Thank you. I have a little bit of a disappointment next. So let's talk about my disappointment.
Why? Why do we want to talk about disappointments?
Because unfortunately they happen. So this next book is a post-apocalyptic. It is After Today by Jacqueline Haley. And okay, so this is about Mackenzie and Jake. So at the beginning of this book, Mackenzie, through her work, finds out that there is an illness that has started, it spread from wherever. It felt a lot like COVID when she was describing it, but it had like, you get a high fever and then you get nosebleeds and then you die. And apparently that's how
That
it
does
goes.
not sound like COVID.
No. The way it spread, like the very beginning, it felt very pandemic-y to me. I was like, what's going on? So anyhow, everybody's evacuating. And this happens like overnight. People are told to quarantine and stay at home. And she gets a call from her best friends who are in her little hometown. She's like in Chicago. And they're like, you have to get out of there. Then she gets a call from her best friend's brother, who is Jake, who is 3 years younger than her and has always had a thing for her. And he's like, I'm coming to get you. And she tells him not to. He eventually comes, rescues her, and they go on a little tiny road trip to get back to her hometown, where then they're quarantined for a while and whatnot. And this is after the government bombed O'Hare Airport because riots broke out. So our government just killed all those people. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that. It's just kind of silly.
It just made no sense to me. I felt like the relationship there was no connection, just because he'd had a crush on her his whole life, and then she just accepted that all of a sudden. And everything was like harrowing to get out of the city. But then once they got out of the city, it was like, oh, everybody has survived and we're just going to hang out here in this town. And I'm like, nobody's dead yet. Like, that just, you have people dying left and right in the city. It doesn't make sense. So I gave it 2.5 stars, and I kind of felt like that was being grateful. So yeah, it didn't work for me. And it's the start of a series, like book, like it ends on a cliffhanger and you have to keep going and going and going. And I was like, yeah, no, I'll pass. So next. Just didn't work for me. Okay.
All right. So my next one is an audiobook with a new to me author who it wasn't this person's newsletter. It was somebody else's, where they send like, oh, here's a link to like my friend's free book or my free audiobook. Yeah. So I got it that way. And it's Sweet Sunshine by Jessica Prince.
Okay.
And the audio is Angela Rocca and Lee
Roca.
Samuels. What?
I think it's Roca. I think
okay.
I've heard stuff by her before.
Yes, I think you're right. Mm-hmm. I can't read my own handwriting sometimes. Okay, so we have Derek. Derek was like in the marriage from hell. His ex-wife is just awful, and they share a daughter. And he has basically sworn off wanting relationships with anyone because of this situation. And he's like, I'm just going to raise my daughter the best that I can. And, that's that. So he enjoys sleeping around quite a bit. And our heroine tries to get his attention and is not very successful. And so Chloe then ends up in a situation where they kind of talk one time and they decide to be friends. And from this point, Derek starts to see her in a very different light and kind of chips away at his attitude of like, I'm never doing a relationship again, because of how bitter he was from the divorce from the ex-wife. And that's where our book goes from there. So again, I rated it 4 stars, but again, I found myself looking at some reviews because some people were like really harsh on this book. And I was very curious. And I always rate first before I read reviews, so nobody like influences me. And I was really surprised to see how many people complained about the fact that Chloe and Derek meet, because Derek moves to this town and she owns like, I think it was a bakery. And so they know each other and have mutual friends and stuff. So, but people were complaining about the fact that once they meet, he still is sleeping like basically his way through the town and not really giving her any time of day, which I was not bothered with, even though she had a crush on him. I was not bothered by that because eventually he comes around, and the baggage that he is dealing with, and we see the ex-wife quite frequently, so we know where he's coming from. So I was a little thrown by that. Maybe because I read a lot, that this sort of take is a little bit different, where he isn't just like insta love, and so it's kind of like a refreshing read in that respect. I don't know, but anyways, thought that was interesting because people were like really harsh on it, and I was like,
yeah,
I didn't see it that way.
That take on things before, and I never understand that, because yes, we know that that's the hero heroine situation, but the hero and heroine in the book don't always know that they're the ones that are meant to be together. One might have a crush on the other one, but that doesn't mean that just because one has a crush on the other one stops. Like if you had a crush on a guy back in the day who he might not know that you have a crush. He's still out there living his best life and getting his. Does he stop everything because you have a crush on him? That makes no sense.
I know.
Until
it is very upsetting how Travis Kelce keeps behaving.
Says the married woman.
I would like to point out that my ring is getting resized. So I'm not wearing it.
Yeah.
I've lost some weight and now my ring like just sails off my finger.
Sure. I'm sure that's the problem.
And apparently that takes like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be back until December. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I question the way people rate things. We rate on enjoyment too. And I think that's a little bit differently. For the most part, we rate on enjoyment if we enjoy the book or not. So, okay. So for my next book, I went back to Izzy and Sean's Disciple series and listened to book number 2, which is Stealing Amy, which I have right here. I just felt the need to go back and listen to it. So again, it had been a couple of years. So this is about Amy and Andrew. But Amy, in the beginning of this book, is on a date with this guy named Ivan. And he has, I think his name was Ivan. He's Russian. But he is basically like a guy that just won't take no for an answer. And he's forced her into seeing him and dating him, and she doesn't want to. Like, she's tried to get restraining orders and things against him, and they never go through all the way because of Ivan's connections. We find out that Ivan is Brava during all of this, but she's been trying to get away from him and she can't. So she is a single mom, and she's just trying to get this guy to back off and leave her alone. So they're at dinner one night. He's professing that she's his baby mama. Like she's going to be his one and only. When they get abducted, she gets a bag thrown over her head and she is abducted by these guys. And that is where Andrew comes in. He is with our guys from the first book, and they think that she is this guy's woman. And she says, no, I'm not. And then Andrew's like, well, then I'm just going to keep you. Breeding happens in this one, too. She has a baby at home, so he goes and gets that baby and decides that that's going to be his, too. I love the way these boys think. You got a baby by another man? Nope, that's mine. Thank you. You know.
That's like what happened in StowawayWhirlwind.
Yeah, love it. I'm going to read that one because that one really is right up my alley. So, yeah. All right. And I gave it 4 stars the first time. It's still 4 stars. So, yeah. Okay.
All right. So my next read, I have a really good find. If you have not heard about this, if you like holiday novellas on Kindle Unlimited, there is a series called Under the Mistletoe Collection, and it just dropped. So there's 5 novellas. And if you grab the novella, if you have KU, you can get the novella for free. And then if you have an Audible membership, you can get the audiobook for free. Okay. So there's 5 of them. So I listened to the first one in this series. So it's Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. This is my first Ali Hazelwood book. I know I'm way behind the time. So again, novella. So this is going to be a quick one. So we have Jamie and Mark. Jamie just needs to borrow a roasting pan. So she goes to borrow a roasting pan from Mark. Mark is her best friend's younger brother who has been crushing on her for a very long time, and they end up snowed in together. So I really enjoyed this novella. It was a lot of fun. It definitely made me think that I should probably look into some more Ali Hazelwood because I did really enjoy the story, and the audio was really good too. I rated this one a 4-star and 3 Christmas tree for cheer.
I love your Christmas tree ratings. They're so cute. Okay. Well, I picked up a book that I thought was going to be amazing because the premise sounded like so much fun, and it's time travel mixed with a little bit of Jane Austen. And I was like, score! Until I started the book. Okay, so
oh, no.
This is Puck and Prejudice, and it is by Leah Riley. The premise of this book is you have our hero who is Tucker, and Tucker is from our time, and he is visiting his sister in England. She's going to Oxford or something, and her sister is studying literature, but his sister and his friend and her friend are talking about Jane Austen. Well, then he drives home that night from the pub that they're at to the wherever they're staying, and he is in an accident. And when he wakes up, he's in a pond. And there's a woman trying to help get him out of the pond, and that woman is Lizzie. So he is basically essentially time traveled back to the Regency era, and Lizzie is best friends with none other than Jane Austen. And so this is their story and how things play out for them. The part that I had a really hard time with is she just accepted the fact that he was from the future just because he showed her a cell phone. And that was all cool. And he just accepted the fact that he was in the past because this woman says she's friends with Jane Austen. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I had a really
did he realize that nothing looked right?
Well, he was in the middle of a field in a pond, I guess. I don't know. It just was not believable. I'm sorry, but if you're going to write a time travel romance, it's got to be like, I mean, I guess I compare everything to Calla Reed and Surviving Trace, and, you know, it took Serene really having to use the Titanic to show ATN that she knows what's going to happen. Like, there was a lot of proving herself there before he believed her. This was like, oh, you have a cell phone? Cool. So you are from the future. And they just accepted it just like that. Like, that doesn't work. I gave it 3 stars, and I really felt like that was being generous. The writing was fine. It just was just unbelievable. It just didn't work. I wanted it to so bad.
All right.
Okay.
So next up, I have VCard for Christmas by Hope Ford.
Okay.
So we have Avery, who moves in to like in a garage apartment next door to Lincoln. And Avery goes over to introduce herself to Lincoln, and there's like, this is a holiday novella. There's insta love attraction, which just in these have to go with to enjoy the story. And this leads Lincoln asking Avery to be his fake wife for a holiday party he has to go to because his boss's wife hits on him very, very uncomfortably, and he just does not like it. So he's told her that he was married, and he's supposed to be bringing his wife to this party. So she agrees to go to the party as his wife. And that is the premise of our story. On a funny note, she tells him, I'll have to bring my Muff over, which he then chokes on a cupcake, but Muff is the name of her cat. So it was kind of funny.
I rated
this 4 stars and then 3 Christmas trees for holiday cheer.
I feel like every time you say that, I think of the Grinch and the Cheermeister. And I'm like, Mandy's our Cheermeister this year.
Well, you know, I'm just waiting to get to that holiday book that just screams 5 Christmas trees for me. And I haven't found it yet, but I'm working on it. Okay.
The Grinch in me is going to hide from that. Okay. I do love Christmas. I love Christmas. I do.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah. Why? For what? My next book?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you forget what's happening?
I did a little bit. I was too caught up.
Have you been drinking peppermint schnapps over there?
Oh, I've never had peppermint schnapps.
I can't.
No, you can't. It would literally kill you. Mm-hmm. It's bad. Okay. So the next book that I have, I did read the book a few years ago, but the audio came out this last week. And so I wanted to re-listen to it because it's new audio. And so that is Coldhearted by Heather Greer. I always say it wrong. It's Guerreri. Anyhow, by Heather. Heather wrote the book. So this is about Grace and Caleb. Grace is a school teacher. She's an English teacher, and she is running from a really bad situation. She's running from an ex that she cannot get away from, who won't leave her alone. There was a theme between this one and one of the other books. But anyhow, she can't get away from this guy. And so she decides to take a position in a remote village in Alaska. And this guy picks her up from Anchorage and flies her in, and that is Caleb. And he is surly and grumpy, and he doesn't talk, and he's not very nice to her. And so they get to this village. The people who are the teachers and stuff live in this lodge in the wintertime. Most of the town lives in that lodge. And then you have like everybody else kind of lives in the outskirts of town. But she lives in this lodge. Everybody is welcoming and loving and amazing to her. She sees some weird things, like big wolves in town. No big deal. And then things start to progress where like she is a student that gets really sick one day and everybody's like, no worries, the village, we've got this taken care of. Like we're taking care of it. So this is a shifter romance. She is not a shifter, obviously, but it is a very grumpy sunshine. She's on the run. I love this one. It's still 5 stars to me. The audio was great. And I think part of the reason why I love this one so much is because the author really did justice to the native village in Alaska, where this is. It's a pretend village, obviously, but the surnames of the natives that live there were on point. The way the community comes together is exactly what it felt like to be in a very small remote town in Alaska, which I spent a couple of years in. It was very, we take care of our own and we're here for everybody. It just was very realistic feeling. And I was like, that deserves a whole nother star just because she's from there or she did some major research, because it was perfect. So it was 5 stars originally. So it still is. I don't know if I said that or not, but yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is All I Want for Christmas is My Best Friend's Older Brother. So this is by Rebecca Noreen Caudell. And this is about Emily. Emily is a bookstore owner in New York, and there is a pipe that bursts next door, which ends up making her bookstore destroyed in many areas, and she can't use it for a significant amount of time. So it's just before Christmas, so she decides to go back home and stay with her best friend while she kind of figures out what she's going to end up doing here. And her best friend has a hot firefighter brother, Luke. And Luke ends up spending a lot of time with them because her best friend has a daughter that he's very close to. And so he ends up spending a lot of time there. And we have major Hallmark Christmas movie feels with like a tree lighting and tree decorating, and true feelings start to come out. And unlike Hallmark movies, we definitely end up with quite a bit of spice in this one. So this was 4 stars. And again, 4 Christmas tree for cheer, because we had like a lot of the Christmas stuff happening in this one. So really enjoyed this one. This was not Second Chance, but it was the go home for the holidays. And apparently I have the theme of best friend's brother in my holiday books.
Equally as interesting to me.
Okay.
Anyhow, okay. I feel a little spicy today. I'm sorry. I don't mean that. Why are they all the brothers?
I don't know.
That's your thing. I must choose the second chance. You must choose the brother situation.
I don't know.
Unknowingly. So, okay. All right. So my last book for the week is the arc that I got this week. And I was so excited about this that I jumped on it. So this is The Horde King of Shadow by Zoey Draven. This is her newest book. When the Horde Kings of Dakar ended, we were told that there was going to be a spinoff. This is the spinoff. So this takes place 200 years after the end of that first series. I would suggest reading that series because we do hear, even though those people are all dead, we do hear about them quite a bit, especially in the beginning of this book. So this is about Clara and Sarkin. So Clara is the daughter to the king, the Dorakar, the king in the city in Dakar. And she is kind of like the illegitimate daughter. She is the one that he doesn't recognize, but she is still a princess. She's still a princess. So these dragons and dragon riders have shown up. They come once a year. And they showed up when, about 100 years ago, and then they keep coming. And one night, the dragon rider lands with his dragons and his people, a few of his people. And he basically says, look, you guys have Heartstone. I want the Heartstone. If you want to give me the Heartstone, I'll take your princess. And so she agrees to marry him to protect her family, because he said, if you don't do that, I'm just gonna take down your city. And so she goes with him, but he knows that she has like these visions and these dreams. It's kind of a gift from the ancient people because of who she descends from. And he needs these heartstones for their people and their dragons that are across the sea. And so he takes her to be his queen. And her first task when she goes to be the queen is to acquire a dragon of her own, which is terrifying in its own right. But she's had dreams about this her whole life. Like, she knows what's coming. She just doesn't want to realize it. So 5 stars. Loved being back in this world. I cannot wait for more. This whole world is like, oh, so freaking good. So it's Alien, if you guys haven't figured that out. Anyhow, it's sci-fi. Okay. Next.
Okay. Well, my next one is an ALC, and it is Christmas. And this is wee bit second chance.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Merry Christmas by Piper Rain, and the audio is done by Stella Hunter and Shane East. They're phenomenal in this one. And this is about Brennan Pierce. Brennan Pierce had a one-night stand about 6 years ago. Pierce ended up being the TA in her college class and basically panics that he had been with a student and basically ghosts her. So now 6 years later, a whole bunch of coincidences have kind of lined up for them to end up in the same place for Christmas, which is they're like at a Christmas, not a Christmas villa. Oh my gosh. Their family is all in Utah together, and they end up having to share the same villa. So like we got forced proximity going on as well. And then there's lots of competitions happening, and they end up being partnered up for this. And Pierce like really kind of falls hard for her, but she's rather still irritated about what happened 6 years ago. So this is Hallmark Christmas movie meets British hero meets very steamy. I really enjoyed this one. I rated it 4 stars, and I did 4 Christmas trees for Christmas cheer because it's very centered around Christmas activities.
Okay. Next.
Is it my turn again? Okay. Next.
Okay.
Next, I have a timer. I have Overtime by Lisa Suzanne. This is book number 4 in the Vegas Aces, the Coach series. This is narrated. This is an ALC. It's narrated by Samantha Brittmore and Aaron Shedlock. I've really, really been enjoying this series, so I highly recommend it. And this one, I don't want to give spoilers away. We'll just say that impacts of other characters are really being felt by Jolene and Lincoln as they are trying to navigate things. And I will just say, I don't think like I could hate Father Nash anymore. And he appears in another series, the Nash Brothers. And I talked about how I didn't like him there, and now I really don't like him. Okay.
That's it.
Yes. Okay. Well, it's part 4 of 5 books, so I don't want to give anything away. So
okay. All right.
Highly recommend it if you enjoy football romance.
Okay.
Okay. Then I have another arc. I told you I was ending on like my arcs and stuff.
Yeah.
This is called Grouches by L.B. Dunbar. And this is a first read for me by her.
Okay.
So we have Pear and Brock. And Brock is a fireman, and he is in trouble with the captain. He is in his 40s, but he has not been making like the best of choices. And his captain is like really big into like restorative retribution and justice and that sort of thing. And so he wants to send Brock off on this like 12-day retreat where he's going to reform him. But Brock, in typical Brock fashion, misses the bus with the other people that are going on this retreat and ends up at the captain's farm where Pear is. And Pear talks to her dad and determines that he is supposed to stay there and complete his restorative action stuff there. So this is a fun take on the 12 Days of Christmas song, where she gives him a task every day for 12 days based on that. It's a lot of fun. Also, Pear is older as well. She is 41, so we definitely have like the mature heroine in this. I rated it 4 stars and I gave it 3 Christmas trees for Christmas cheer.
I do like that her name is Pear. It's not Holly. It's not Ivy. It's not.
Pear is short for paradise.
But I do like that. I mean, it's different, right? It's not
Yes.
Cole. It's not Nick or Nikki. It's yeah. That was inventive. Okay.
Yes.
I'll give her
Okay.
that.
And then my last read for the week was an ALC by Lulu Moore. This is my first read by her. This was Once Upon a Christmas Tree, and it is narrated by CJ Bloom and Shane East. And we have Haven and Alex. So Alex is like a lord and he's uber rich. And his brother, through some circumstances, is no longer getting married. It's kind of a depressing thing. So all the brothers hop on their private plane to go to Aspen to spend Christmas and kind of cheer him up. Now, Alex hates Christmas, and this isn't just a grouchy, like Grinch type thing. He has some real reasons that are delved into. So I just wanted to point that out. And Haven is running a Christmas tree store. She sells Christmas stuff here, trees and that sort of thing. And she is like trying to dig herself out of some financial debt from some medical bills. But she's definitely all about like the Christmas cheer. And the two of them end up together, like meeting up together type thing. And some friendship starts to form, which leads into some other stuff, which leads into tons of fun holiday antics. There's a gingerbread house contest, lots of fun stuff. I really enjoyed this one. This is a prequel to her new series, The Valentine Nook Chronicles. I will say it ends though, like totally setting up the series. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, when is the series coming out? And it looks like it doesn't come out until September. But she said coming in 2025, which September would be 2025, but that seems really far away. So I'm hoping that it's going to be sooner than that because I'm like desperate for more.
Right.
I rated this 5 stars and 4 Christmas trees for Christmas cheer.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
How many Christmas trees? 4?
4.
4.
Yeah, it's getting
You were
up
getting
there.
close. Yeah.
And
that was
again,
close.
we did not have like this felt so fresh and original to me. And I read a lot of Christmas books this week. So to me, it felt fresh and original. I don't know. Like, you never know. Some people, Jessica, might feel that anything that revolves around Christmas is not fresh and original, but I really enjoyed it a lot.
I love it. Thanks for calling me out on that one. I'm sorry. I just have a hard time with Christmas ones. I do. I won't.
Check back in December when we do convincing my bestie. It's gonna be fun. All right.
Okay. That's why I'm trying to stay away from Christmas books until then, because
now that we have gotten through all of those books, let's move on to the fun stuff.
Yes.
And that is, we just had we had that Google Doc we asked you to fill out to give us some feedback. We love your feedback. You gave us lots of ideas that are new and lots of ideas that just kind of cement that things that we have planned are things that you guys want to see. So we really appreciate that. There's a few things that we will definitely be working on for the new year. So thank you. It was great to read that. And thank you for all the positive comments. There were just so many positive comments about how much you guys enjoy our videos, which just really made our day. So thank you. Yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to spin the wheel of names, and this is for the Amazon gift card. And then Jessica will like email that to you when this video airs on Monday for that. And then just stay tuned because we're getting really close to 2,000 subscribers. So thank you. So if you've not subscribed yet, please do so. We love that. And tell your friends. And we are going to have one more giveaway before the big 2,000 giveaway where you can win all of these favorite books of ours. So, Are we ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to. I can't remember if I did this last time. I think you just
you just turned it around and then.
Okay.
All right, we're spinning.
The wheel of names. Here we go. You're going to have to read it. I can't read it from here.
It's Lara.
All right.
All right.
Congratulations. And we have your email address. We liked this. We felt like this streamlined it and made it a little bit easier to connect with you to get you your prize. So Jessica will be emailing that to you. So look for that, and congratulations. And thank you everyone for taking the time to fill that out. We really, really appreciate your feedback.
I didn't feel like I did that very excitedly because I was like questioning whether I was reading that right because I had my glasses on. So yay!
Yes, yay! Thank you. Thank you to everybody who took the time to fill that out and enter.
It does. It helps us because we have ideas, but we're like, are they going to want to see that? Yes. So it does help a lot. So yeah. All right. Okay. So that was our reading week. That was all the books.
Yes. So make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us, and on Wednesday for bonus episodes. And this Wednesday, we have author interview with Ren Shear. Sure, you are not going to want to miss that.
That was fun.
Oh my gosh. Some great stuff came out in that video.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.